Hello, my dotlings, and welcome to another shameless self-promotion right here in Madame Tortuga's Lounge with Dottie the Psychic as your host. Don't forget that you can also check out more of the story on Patreon, where the patrons go to support me, Dottie. You can also check out my website, dottieThepsychic.com. With that being said, let's meet this Shameless Self-Promotion's guest. Hello, my dotlings. So, this is the second half of the Morgan Horman interview. I thought it would be better for the algorithm and my nerves if I were to just go ahead and just do a second half. I am going to try and do the podcasts are supposed to be about an hour long. Apparently I was just, I don't got excuses. I think I was just exhausted when I was trying to get the interview out, because we did this interview a long time ago now, and it's just been hard to get into my office to edit. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Here's a second half.
But yeah,
So,
I enjoy doing YouTube. It's a lot of fun. Please go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, tell us a little bit more about, because we were talking about your local area. Like, you have events going on. We've talked a lot about the site where you have these events. I think you told me you had some events scheduled, didn't you?
Yes, I do. So currently, I have 4 events scheduled for the 5 major camping events scheduled for the year. The first one is coming up in a couple weeks. It's a poly bonfire day type thing. It's just to come out, talk, meet the poly community in the area, that kind of thing. And then Mother's Day weekend, the 12th through the 14th of May, I'm hosting an event called Gaia, and it is devoted to the divine feminine. I'm trying my best to have only female presenters and performers. It's about celebrating womanhood and motherhood, and whichever direction you want to go on that. If you do want to be a mother, you be a mother. You don't have to be a mother. Talk about that. All the different things. Talk about gratitude. Talk about how you interact in society. There's all kinds of stuff we're going to do. Plus, we've got people coming out to, I've got an amazing harpist coming out named Maven Stone. She's an amazing harpist, really fantastic, is just going to kind of lay this magical, I can't explain it. Her music it just really kind of makes you go, ah. And then
I do love a well-played harp.
Oh yeah. And she also does not just classical harp or like the typical Irish harp music. She also does current music that's been translated and all just really cool stuff. I've got a burlesque performer coming out, and she's going to do a workshop as well about dance and sexuality. I have flow performers coming that'll be spitting fire, hooping, stabs. There's going to be a class on flow. I've got a mushrooming class. There's just all kinds of cool stuff going on. I've got other classes that I'm still working on here and back, some stuff on some core magic, creating spell work and doing those type of things. And it's an all ages event. Families are welcome. We're still working on developing a children's tracks. We don't really have a lot for kids to do yet, I'll be honest. But it's about female empowerment. And it's about worshiping the goddess, and it's about embracing the goddess. And we are all both God and goddess. And it's about bringing that into ourselves and sharing that and learning and understanding and removing barriers so that we can all just be one. Feast of the Horn God, the 24th.
Wait, before you go on,
Go ahead.
What days are these, and where are you located? Like, where can we find more about this event?
Okay, so this event is that one's on Facebook, or you can find it through hornandhoney.org, or you can find a link from faywoodgrove.org or .com. And Gaia is May 12th through the 14th. We are located in Brown County, Indiana, near Columbus, Indiana, between Columbus and Bloomington. It's in the southern third. It's like pretty much the line of the southern third. We're easy to get to from Chicago, Cincinnati. Just come across 74. You can get here easy from West Virginia.
I'm thinking about it. That sounds like fun. Okay.
You should absolutely come out. After we talk, let's talk about a class. You can come out, hang out, teach class, enjoy. I barter for people to give classes in exchange for gate and all kinds of stuff, so people can. I realize that people don't have money to pursue the festival lifestyle often, and so I keep my events as low priced as possible, as well as I always provide opportunities for people to work them off, so that they or barter their way in is a better way to put it, so that they can participate and contribute and still be there, but at a discount, because I know none of us, money's hard to come by, especially right now. Inflation's stupid. Food's expensive. I know it's hard. So I'd lower prices on one of my events just because of that. Because
that is awesome.
I acknowledge that. All of my events are under $100.
Wow,
so,
really?
Yes. Gaia is, I think, 50 for the weekend.
Yeah, well, let's definitely talk more about your barter system. So you said that.
Yeah.
So this is kind of an open for classes. Do you have a criteria that people have to meet to do the classes? Like, how would that work?
So I basically have an application process where anyone is willing. Anyone who is willing. There we go. I got all those words out. Anyone who is willing to present or talk about something is more than welcome. Depending on the topic, I might do a background check on you. Find out who you are and why we should listen to you. And if you're going to share good information with my event goers. If you're going to share good information, I want you to present. You don't need to have written a book. You just need to know your shit.
Fair enough. As a chaot, I appreciate that, because there's no proof that I'm a witch at all. Like, I don't have a third degree in something.
Right. I've been initiated into 4 different covens and started 3 traditions of my own. So,
wow. Yeah. So this is like your life work. Talk about turning a hobby into a career.
Well, I started running covens back in 97. And then I started running Pagan Pride Day in Indianapolis in 2000. And I ran it until COVID. So, yeah, it really is my life work. I've been running covens and pagan events for the last almost 30 years.
Okay, so I know I interrupted you when you were getting ready to tell me more about your events. I want to definitely get through the events, and then I want to ask you about your covens.
Absolutely. And yeah, Gaia, lots of cool stuff, bartering. You can come in as a presenter, or if you want to help out with the fire, help with the maintenance, gathering stuff. We need help at the gate. It's just a matter of getting a hold of me ahead of the event and reaching out and saying, hey, I'd love to do that, and I can work in security, or I can work your gate or whatever. We don't have a kitchen because I'm not dealing with any licensing and permits. And bring a cooler full, you'll have fine.
Right. BYOB, y'all.
Right. And bring something to share, because that always makes for a better event. Because when I got extra, who needs something? You find folks that A, don't have enough to eat, and B, you make new friends.
You know, that actually brings up something that I'm always kind of amazed by the pagan community. Like, the genuine diversity of the group, not just like LGBT or BIPOC community, but like across class.
Yeah.
Like you will find people who are dirt poor, who are like the festival is a lifestyle, and then you'll find like executives.
Yeah.
Like
Out
this
in an
is their
RV.
weekend to burn off steam.
Yeah. Yeah. And that gamut. Back when I started within the pagan community, a lot of us were in IT because that's how we found each other, was the computers, the BBSs, and Yahoo groups and stuff like that. So a lot of us, we were already IT. Well, that we knew how to use the computer to find the pagans. And so
Yeah, that makes sense.
there's a large population of IT folks and or that type of person within the pagan community. A lot of folks do tech support, a lot of developers, lots of designers, architects. That's what I do. The easiest way to put it is I'm a solution architect. I design applications for large corporations.
Oh wow.
And
So this isn't your only job.
right. I actually have like 8. And that's why currently the Morgan Horman Show and Grove of the Gods are both kind of on pause until Mabon.
Fair. Listen, I understand having too many irons in the fire. That's why these have gone to pre-recorded and maybe come out only once a month.
Right. Well, there's so much going on, especially when summer comes along. And with the events that we're doing here, excuse me, the advent of spring is an amazing time to watch the world awake and kill honeysuckle.
Oh God, honeysuckle. It smells so good, but it is so invasive.
And that's what I spent part of my day doing today. Was my lunch hour was spent cutting honeysuckle that we're still working on getting out because it's a slow process. But we just hadn't gotten to that section of the land yet, so getting it gone. And it's an ongoing battle. And spring means it's time to get out there and collect all the wood that's fallen out of the trees during the winter storms and get the deadfall and get it all ready for folks to come out. So there's a lot of time that goes into that. And yeah, so YouTube channels, go to the side for a little bit.
Sorry, I just had a great idea while you were talking.
Oh, absolutely. Awesome. Excuse me.
I gotta get it out of my head so I don't lose it because it was super cool. I've been working on my website, so I'm probably gonna use like a blog page to put on all my content, so I can like just write the blurb, so I can share the blurb and the link. Oh, I didn't. This is kind of. I'm gonna edit this out.
Okay.
When you get a chance, send me a good picture of yourself and a little blurb.
I will. And all my links.
And all your links. All the links.
All the links. All the links.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about. Did we cover all the events? I don't think we're ever going to get through all the events.
We still have events to go through. Sorry. I'm like, wait, okay. So there's Feast of the Horn God is the next event. It's June 23rd to the 25th. It's the Father's Day event. It's devoted to divine masculine. And it's classes about masculinity. It's classes about magic. It's classes about nature. It's dancing. It's drumming. It's celebrating the sun. It's been going since 2010. And it's a really good time to come out and just enjoy the full ripeness of the trees and the leaves. And it's just amazingly dark green here during Feast of the Horn God. And we just opened up our fire pit, Eris, and like doubled the size of it. And now we have a stage-ish area and a performing area. And it's just... And then there's Libertine over Labor Day weekend. It's a King Poly alternative lifestyle, sacred sexuality event. And then there is Hecate over Samhain, and that's a free camping event. That just come out and enjoy Halloween weekend with us.
Now I may have to make that one because I do.
Yeah. And then with the Tribe of Sovo rituals, I live stream for our coven. We offer free camping the night of the ritual, or the night before the ritual if you're coming from too far out of town. But that way, if you come here, you can celebrate, have fun. We're going to have a fire. People are going to pass a bottle. It's going to be a great time. I don't want you driving. You can
Fair
sleep in
enough.
your car, bring a tent. We're set up. It's not a problem. It's nothing off our back for you to crash and be safe.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate, like I say, I do appreciate you having a celebration of masculinity. I do think that guys really have gotten hit with a lot over the last few years.
Well, both genders have been hit with a lot. There's
all genders, non-binary. That's not easy either.
Yeah, I'm sorry. All genders. Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
All genders have been hit with a lot over the last few years in regards to the recognition of the toxicness and the idiotic demands that are made by society on everyone. Whether it's toxic masculinity or toxic femininity, both of them don't play a good place in life. They both have negative effects on all genders because they're trying to force roles. And part of what we're evolving towards is removing the label removing the roles, the assignations, and allowing people to just be themselves.
I appreciate that. I personally appreciate that.
And
I definitely am interested in this one for Hecate, though.
Right on. It's a good ritual. It's a really nice ritual. We have a big fire. It's a night. It's an ancestor feast combined as well as a Samhain ritual. We have actually 3 rituals that day.
Oh wow!
Because our normal rituals for Tribe of Sovo, we have around 4:30 in the afternoon. We move them to that because roads are twisty out here. I'll be honest, and country roads can be scary for folks, and I'd rather folks feel comfortable coming out in daylight and if they don't feel comfortable or safe driving on those roads at night, be able to leave before it gets dark. And so we have ritual in the late afternoon so that people can come out and still enjoy. We're able to get streamed at a good time. And then for some events like Hecate, what we do is, so we've got our normal ritual, then we'll have an ancestor feast after that so that we'll get some carbs in us. And we'll have those moments where we're able to salute the ancestors that recognize the ancestors that brought us life, eat the things that remind us of them and pay honor to them as the dishes they love to make or their favorite foods or the thing that reminds you the most of them. And then we have a nighttime ritual around the fire that includes divination, and it's a more extended version of the ancestor feast in where we talk about the ancestors that have passed over the last year, and we talk about the things that have passed over the last year. And so you can come to any of the 3 parts or all of them and either camp the whole weekend or not. And then we have the ancestors feast is really to have a shared meal as well, because shared meals are incredibly important within our religion. Shared meals are incredibly important within any religion.
I tend to agree. I think it's a very important part of ritual, that because it's getting together and nourishing your body. So it makes sense to nourish your soul while you nourish your body. I think because feasts and religious practices go together really, really well.
Yeah, they do. They really, really do. Well, and just based on the fact that food grounds you out.
Right.
It helps calm you down so you don't be a bitch. Um,
Listen, you don't have to call me out like that. Everybody gets hangry once in a while.
I do too. Hey, sex and food, they're my favorite ways to ground.
You know, that is something to talk about, grounding. And you know what I do is usually like I will take a deep breath. I like to just take my shoes off.
Yeah.
Like if I want to do grounding, a step outside, and I hate to admit this, I am trying to quit, but like smoking a cigarette is a hell of a grounding thing. Like anything, I have grounded out so hard that I have stopped the flow of clients when I'll do in like the rapid fire readings at events.
Yeah.
I'm like, you go all day, but the moment you break that seal, the moment you go pee or do anything biological that is away from your table, it's like, well, you're grounded out now. You're grounded.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No more readings for you.
You broke the chain.
Oh,
Wait.
and it gets that easy too sometimes. Like it's
Yeah.
funny when you don't mean to ground because you go from like really high to really low fast. Like if you ground out, but like I've done that too.
Yeah. You have to be gentle on your body between the highs and lows.
Right. Remember, ground responsibly.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about, if you don't mind talking about your personal practice.
So I have been a pagan since I was a little kid. I didn't know it. Um so my grandparents were Girl Scout troop leaders, senior Girl Scout troop leaders, so high school girls. And when I was like 3, I'd go camping with them. And so I spent a lot of time in the woods. And I'd disappear for hours with the teens out in the woods. And I started talking to the trees and I started talking to the critters. And it was a very interesting thing. It scared the hell out of my grandma. But due to personal tragedy and something happening, I walked away from the idea of a Christian God when I was like 6 years old. And I just kind of was atheist ish. I use ish a lot. I was
Yeah.
atheist ish for a
Only
long
Sith
time.
speaking absolutes.
Yeah. But what I did believe in and connect with was Native American spirituality. And this was the 70s. And so it was a very filtered view of reality. And I did my best to learn everything I could. And I connected in myself with the idea of the native Aboriginal spirits, started giving honor to the land spirits, got into high school, alcoholic, a lot of chaos magic, a lot of stupid spell work with tarot cards. And
Don't we
then
all do that?
yeah, when I turned 23, I got sober. And it changed everything. And I didn't find a Christian God because it's never matched with me, but I did find a higher power, and that's Gaia. It was the one I'd been connecting to my whole life. My mom was actually Dianic. Her and her lover were Dianic, were members of a group down here in southern Indiana. And that's what matched with me, loving nature, listening to the spirits and listening to myself, being God. And I started down the path of the horn god when I was younger through Wankantanka and my study and interest in Aboriginal beliefs. And that morphed when I was like 17 or 18. There was a show on Showtime called Robin of Locksley or Robin of Sherwood. And it was a Robin Hood series on Showtime that had this amazing character on it called Hearn the Hunter. And that was who I identified with. I went,
wow.
that's a god. And then as time went on, I was finally able to start learning information about Hearn the Hunter because there was nothing in the encyclopedia about that. And that was all you had back then was the encyclopedia and your local library. And
Google is an amazing thing, kids. I know that you have no idea what it means to go through a whole library of because encyclopedia, a lot of kids today probably think that's like a one book thing. No, an encyclopedia is a set. Each letter was a book.
Yep. And some of them were like 4.
Oh yeah, like
LA through LE and L.
Oh my god, yeah, and they were like thicker than the Bible.
Yep.
My grandparents had a full set. It took up 2 shelves.
Right.
That were as wide as my desk.
And if you were lucky, you had a university library near you that you might be able to go to, but you were still really restrained on the information you had. And I learned about Hearn the Hunter, and I connected. And my first coven, I was a devotee of Hearn until Beltane of 98. And
that was a hell of a year.
It was a very interesting year. I went to call the god for ritual with the coven that I had started. It was called Bear Moon at the time. And I was planning on saying Hearn. Hearn's not what came out. Carnunos is what came out. And then there was lightning and the trees bent, and it was really cool. And that was my start with Carnunos. I was with Carnunos until 2002 when I met Pan. And there was a Pan shrine at Our Haven. And the person who took care of that shrine came in, and she's like, I got somebody I think you need to meet, and took me back there, and I found my new god, and I've been with Pan since then. That's 21 years. My path is very devoted towards empowerment, freedom, equality, consent, and self-manifestation. It's about healing yourself. It's about deciding who you're going to be and making it happen. Driving yourself through various goals. I'm definitely one of those best effort people. I believe that you need to give your best effort every day, but I also say that your best effort changes every day, and you have to have compassion for yourself and understand that you can't do the exact same thing every day, because not every day is the same.
I agree.
And it's about healing for me. A lot of my path has been. And now my path is more, I'm as evangelical as we get without it being that way.
We don't proselytize. We just talk shit.
Right. And more than anything, it's I live a good example.
You know what? I can appreciate that.
I live the life I tell people about, and I talk about the joys I get from being a follower of Pan. And I explain that Pan's not just about lust. There are actually 3 phases to him, and there's a lot there to unpack as a devotee. But it all comes down to enthusiasm, passion, whether it's lust or it's doing your homework or making dinner. It's about imbuing yourself into the world around you and putting your passion, your ideas, your energy into the world around you in a very focused and conscientious way.
So it's kind of like taking that, it's almost like passionate awareness, sort of.
Passionate mindfulness.
Mindfulness. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Passionate mindfulness.
Yeah. It's passionate
love
mindfulness.
I really love that. That's interesting.
So, and it starts with that: treat other people as you would have them treat you. Don't do things to people you don't want done to you. It's very simple. Don't be a dick.
That seems harder for people to understand.
I've noticed.
So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm not an asshole every now and again, too.
Absolutely. I am sure that there are times when other people think I'm being a jerk. And when I'm wrong, I apologize. And I apologize for what I did, not that you're upset. Because, well, that doesn't help you.
I have done that, though. I'm like, when somebody's being abusive, a little verbally abusive, when they're just going for low blows and being an asshole, I'm like, well, I'm sorry you're upset.
Absolutely. And that's all you can do to shut that kind of thing down. But when somebody goes, hey, you hurt my feelings, you go, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings.
Right. I did not intend to hurt you. I would like to know what I did.
Yes. What behavior do I need to change? I will no longer do this. I will do this instead to make sure that I do not do this. These are proper apologies.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do. That is one thing I noticed that, like, it does seem like, I don't know where I was going with this. My brain seized up.
Well, it is a hard thing to do. I agree with you. And part of the reason it's a hard thing to do is because we're so afraid of being in trouble, and we've been castigated multiple times in our past for not being perfect. And we have to be perfect or people aren't going to like us. People are going to be mad at us. People are going to punish us, or it's going to cost us something.
Right. You know what? I think we should I would like to continue this conversation over on Patreon. Why don't you go ahead and tell the folks where we can find more out about Mr. Morgan?
You can, absolutely. You can find me on faywoodgrove.com. You can find me on Facebook, on YouTube. It's The Morgan Hornman Show. You can find Faywood Grove at Faywood Grove Inn for all the ats. Tribus Sovo is the name of the coven that I run. Horn and Honey is the name of the page that I run the Feast of the Horn God and Gaia under. Because it was originally Horn and Honey was the name of the event, and I've split it into two so that there's specific focus on each divine feminine and divine masculine. And I love talking to people. Please hit me up, say hi. I'm on TikTok too, so
a little bit everywhere. And folks, we will try to have those links in the bio. Make sure you check that out. Don't forget, we have a whole bunch of stuff going on. We are gearing up for Pagan Pride. I know it's not till September, but we have got our Patreon up. We are trying to get things rolling, so it's going to be a year-long project, not just one single event. So check that out. Don't forget to check me out at dottieThepsychic.com. Safe travel and much profit to you.
praise be to Pan.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Shameless Self-Promotion right here in Madame Tortuga's Lounge, hosted by Dottie the Psychic. If you'd like to hear more of this interview and maybe help out, support the channel or whatnot, you can totally go to Patreon.com/DOTTIE the Psychic. And if you'd like to see what other craziness I'm into, check out DOTTIE thepsychic.com. Safe travel and much profit to you.